Okay guys, I want to talk to you today about Lesson 7 quiz. We need to work on a few things. I want to go over some problems with you. So as I go over the quiz, I want you to correct yours and look at what you missed and why you missed it. This is important skills that you need to have for the rest of the year pretty much. All right, so number one, it said two functions are shown below. We've got function A and we have function B. You were given a table for A and an equation for B. It says which statement correctly describes the rate of change of the two functions. So the first thing you needed to do was to find the rate of change of each function so you could compare them. When we have a table, remember we're looking for the change in Y over the change in X. So 3 to 9, it went up by 6. 9 to 13, it went up by 4. 0 to 3, it increased by 3. And 3 to 5, it increased by 2. Now, some of you the day of the quiz were asking about that. You said it wasn't the same thing. But remember, we're looking for the change in Y over the change in X. 6 over 3 equals 2. 4 over 2 equals 2. They both reduce down to the same number. So for function A, the rate of change is 2. So now everything that I write on this paper, you need to write on your paper. That shows me that you're listening and you're trying to catch on to whatever you missed. Okay. All right. So, and let's go ahead and pick out, they didn't ask for it, but we can also find the initial value. We talked yesterday and the day before that initial value is your 0, 3. So if they had asked, I could also find that. So let's just go ahead and mark it. The initial value for function A is 3. All right, for function B, your rate of change is always the coefficient of X. So I'm looking at 3. Your initial value is that plus or minus number. So we have 2. Okay, there's your initial value. All right, now the choices were A, the rate of change is 2 for both function A and function B. Yes for function A, no for function B, so no. All right, B says the rate of change is 3 for both function A and function B. No. C says the rate of change is greater for function A than for function B. Well, A is 2 and B is 3, so A is not greater than B. So no. So it had to be D. The rate of change is greater for function B than for function A. Because yes, 3 is greater than 2. So D was the correct answer. Okay? Make sure you have it all on your paper. All right, then number 2. It says that Cecilia planted 2 bushes at the same time and measured their heights over several years. It says she represented each bush's growth as shown. So we're still talking about the rate of change and the initial value. So let's go ahead and pick out those pieces, because if you look at all of your multiple choice answers, it's all about rate of change and initial value. So that's the pieces I'm going to need. All right, well, for bush A, we said rate of change is where it starts, where the line starts, when you only have that first quadrant. We learned yesterday that it's the y-intercept. It's your 0 pair. So for this one, 0 and 10, because you can tell it's right between the 8 and the 12. So 0, 10. So my initial value is 10. And my rate of change, I'm looking for your vertical change over your horizontal change, the change in Y over the change in X. And when they don't have the points marked, you just need to mark any 2 points that are on the corner. So this would be a good spot. This would be good. Any of these points, it's right on the corners, okay? So if I'm going up 1 unit, I have to look, 1 unit is worth 4, and I'm going over 2 units. Okay, so my rate of change is 4 over 2, and we would go ahead and reduce it because we need to compare the numbers, is 2 for bush A. All right, for bush B, it said it had a height of 7.5 inches when planted, so that is your initial value. It's where that bush started. It said it grew at a constant rate of 2.5 inches per year, so that is your rate of change. Okay? So we're comparing the 7.5 initial value, 10 initial value, and 2 for rate of change. That's the pieces we need. All right, it says, which of the statements are true? A says bush A has a greater rate of change than bush B. Is 2 greater than 2.5? No. All right, bush B has an initial value less than the initial value of bush A. Is 7.5 less than 10? Yes. After 7 years, bush B was 1 inch taller than bush A. Now, if they've given you a graph, you can just look at it. Bush A, after 7 years, was 24 inches. Okay. On bush B, it says that it grew at 2.5 inches per year. So if I wanted to write the equation for that, I'd have y equals 2.5x plus 7.5, because that's where it started, and they asked for 7 years, so I'm just plugging and chugging. So 2.5 times 7, so we got 35, carry the 3, 17, so 17.5 plus 7.5. So we're looking at 25 inches. This was 24 inches. And it says after 7 years, bush B was 1 inch taller than bush A. Yes, 25 is 1 more than 24. So C works. All right, then D says bush B grows at a slower rate than bush A. Well, this rate is 2.5. That is faster than 2, so no. Bush A and bush B are the same height when planted. No, this one started at 10 and this one started at 7.5. So no. Okay. All right, moving on to the back side. All right, number 3, it says the savings rate for 2 students are shown. Anna's savings account is y equals 7x plus 4. Where x is the number of weeks Anna saves and y is the total amount in her account. So let's just look at Anna's before we even leave. That 7x is 7 per week. So $7 per week is her rate of change because it's my coefficient of x. And her initial value is 4. That's what she started her account with. That plus or minus number is where she started. All right, then it says Alex's savings account. Alex opens his savings account with an initial amount of 6 and adds $4 per week. So his rate of change is $4 and his initial value is $6. So now we got some numbers to work with. It says fill in the blanks to compare the 2 students' accounts. Anna opens her savings account with blank dollars less than Alec used to open his account. So it's not asking for what Anna opened her account with, but how much less than Alec. She opened with 4, he opened with 6. So she opened with $2 less than Alec. Probably most of you missed that because you just put in how much she started her account. You have to read the whole statement. All right, then it says Anna adds blank more per week to her account than Alec adds to his. So she's putting in 7, he's putting in 4, 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay? So the 2 we got from doing 6 minus 4, we subtracted the initial values, and the 3 we got from doing 7 minus 4, we subtracted the rate of change. Okay? All right, then number 4, it says 2 movie clubs charge an initial membership fee plus a constant rate for each movie that is rented. The table and graph shows what the 2 movie clubs charge. All right, so we've got Club A. You can see where it starts, so let's make some information here. So our initial value is 3. Our rate of change, if you look at it, if we started at 3, we go up 1 and we go over 2. So he's making $1 per 2 movies. So that is 50 cents per movie. Okay. Or not making, but the total cost, sorry. All right, then Club B, number of movies, total cost. So here's their initial value, that's your 0 pair. So your initial value, your IV is $2.25. And then if you look, you're going up 75 cents every time. Here it's just going up by 1. So the rate of change is 75 cents per movie. Okay. All right, it says complete an equation to represent each relationship. Let Y represent the total cost for renting X movies. So for Club A, we had a rate of change of 50 cents. We had an initial value of 3. So 50 cents is my coefficient of X plus 3. Or you could have put 1/2, but we're talking about money, so this is where I would put a decimal. But I wouldn't have counted it wrong if you did 1/2. All right, then Club B, it says the rate of change is 75 cents and the initial value is $2.25. So I've got 75.75x, so 75 cents a movie plus the $2.25. Okay. All right, then the last part says which club has the greater initial value. So which one has greater initial value, which would be 3. So Club A it says which club has the greater rate of change. That's Club B. All right, and then it says describe what this means in the context of this problem. So this means that Club A charges a greater fee than Club B. That's what the initial value is. And then Club B charges more per movie. Than Club A. Okay, because you had to answer each question and you had to describe what this means in the context of the problem. All right, look over your paper. Be sure your paper looks like my paper now, and hopefully whatever you missed, you see what you did wrong and you can make corrections and not make that mistake again. Okay. All right, guys, just put your Chromebooks up when you're done. Thanks.